Today, I'm excited to take you on a journey through the best single-player games of the past decade, from 2013 all the way up to 2023. There's something truly magical about being able to lose yourself in a game's world, exploring its nooks and crannies, discovering its secrets, and immersing yourself in its story. With a single-player game, you're in complete control of the experience, able to go at your own pace, and truly appreciate every aspect of the game. So if you're like me and you love diving headfirst into a great single-player game, then you're in for a real treat. We're about to explore the very best titles from the past 10 years, each one offering a truly unforgettable experience. So sit back, relax, and let's get started.
Crud, what time is it?
It's way past your bedtime.
But it's still today.
2013 was a landmark year for video games, with several amazing titles being released. But one game that stood out among the rest was The Last of Us, developed by Naughty Dog. The game takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where a fungus has turned most of humanity into mutated creatures. You play as Joel, a smuggler who is tasked with escorting a young girl named Ellie across the country. The game's narrative is incredibly emotional and immersive, and the gameplay is both challenging and satisfying. The Last of Us is a true masterpiece of storytelling, and it deservedly won numerous awards, including Game of the Year.
Your leg is broken.
Stop right there!
Okay. We're not sick.
Got a couple of civilians in the outer perimeter. Please advise.
Daddy, what about Uncle Tommy?
We're gonna get you to safety and go back for him.
Moving on to 2014, one of the best single-player games of the year was Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. The game is an action-packed open-world game developed by Monolith Productions. Set in J.R.R. Tolkien's Middle-earth, the game follows the story of Talion, a ranger who seeks revenge against the forces of Sauron. The game features a unique nemesis system, where enemies remember their encounters with the player and develop their own personalities and strengths. The game's combat is smooth and satisfying, with a variety of weapons and abilities to choose from. Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor won several awards, including Game of the Year at the Game Developers' Choice Awards, and it's a must-play for fans of action games and the Lord of the Rings universe.
Water, air, and fire.
2015 was another incredible year for single-player games, but none were quite as amazing as The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. Developed by CD Projekt Red, the game is set in a massive open world where you play as Geralt of Rivia, a monster hunter. The game's story is expansive and immersive, with memorable characters and a world that feels alive. The combat is also excellent, with a deep leveling system and a variety of spells, abilities, and weapons to choose from. The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt won numerous awards, and it's widely regarded as one of the best games of all time.
Who are you? What do you want?
I'm Geralt, a witcher,
Go away!
looking for a young woman.
For me, Uncharted 4 was the best single-player game of 2016. It's a perfect blend of stunning graphics, tight and responsive gameplay, and a masterfully crafted story. The attention to detail in the world building is simply breathtaking, with lush jungles, ancient ruins, and realistic character models. The gameplay strikes a perfect balance between puzzle solving, platforming, and combat, and the variety of weapons and gadgets keeps things fresh. But what really sets it apart is the emotional depth of the story. It deals with themes of love, loss, and family in a mature and heartfelt way. It's a true masterpiece that every gaming fan should experience.
It's like a maze here. Well, just keep it.
Moving on to 2017, one of the best single-player games of the year was Horizon Zero Dawn. Developed by Guerrilla Games, the game is set in a post-apocalyptic world where you play as Aloy, a young woman who is on a quest to uncover the truth about her past. The game's story is engaging and well-written, with stunning visuals and a unique blend of prehistoric and futuristic elements. The combat is also satisfying, with a variety of weapons and abilities to choose from, and the ability to take down massive robotic creatures. Horizon Zero Dawn won several awards, including Best Original Game at the Game Awards, and it's a standout title from 2017. ', 2018 was a fantastic year for single-player games, but one game that took the gaming world by storm was God of War. Developed by Santa Monica Studio, the game is a soft reboot of the popular franchise, with a more mature and emotional story that focuses on the relationship between Kratos and his son Atreus. The game's combat is excellent, with a variety of weapons and abilities to unlock, and the graphics and sound design are some of the best in the industry. God of War won numerous awards, including Game of the Year at the Game Awards, and it's one of the best games on the PlayStation 4.
Wait for my mark. Relax. Do not think of it as an animal. It is simply a target. Clear your mind. Exhale.
Moving on to 2019, one game that I like out among the rest was Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Developed by From Software, the game is set in feudal Japan and follows the story of a shinobi who is on a quest for revenge. The game's combat is challenging but incredibly satisfying, with a unique posture system that rewards skilled players. The game also has a deep progression system, with a variety of abilities and upgrades to unlock. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice won several awards, including Game of the Year at the Game Awards, and it's a must-play for fans of challenging action games.
To return from the dead using resurrection. After resurrecting, the wolf is vulnerable. If he's killed, it will mean losing valuable resources and potentially other, more personal.
2020 was a year of surprises, and one of the most popular single-player games from 2020 was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. The game's engaging story, immersive world, and improved gameplay mechanics made it a favorite among players and critics alike. Players take on the role of Ivar, a Viking warrior, as they lead their clan to settle in England during the 9th century. The game's open-world environment is vast and beautiful, featuring stunning landscapes, bustling towns, and a variety of missions and side quests that keep players engaged for hours. Overall, Assassin's Creed Valhalla is a well-crafted game that offers a compelling story, immersive world, and improved gameplay mechanics.
A Viking must find a way to adapt. As Eivor is not welcome in England, you may need to outsmart your enemies, avoiding unwanted attention in towns and bustling cities.
We come to 2021, and one game that stood out among the rest was Deathloop. Developed by Arcane Studios, the game is a first-person shooter where you play as Colt, an assassin who is stuck in a time loop. The game's story is engaging and well-written, with a unique twist on the time loop mechanic. The game's combat is also excellent, with a variety of weapons and abilities to choose from. Deathloop won several awards, including Best Game Direction and Best Art Direction at the Game Awards, and it's a must-play for fans of action games. A massive single-player role-playing game of 2022 that pulls no punches is Elden Ring. It was directed by the famous game director Hidetaka Miyazaki and included world-building components created by George R.R. Martin, who is the author of Game of Thrones. It was released in 2022 and has become the most popular game of the year. You play a character in the game who can be customized and who is attempting to fix the Elden Ring. 6 different locations, from undead wastelands to secret tunnels and abandoned ruins, must be explored in order to accomplish this.
Someone must extinguish thy flame.
They will fight, and they will die. In an
Finally, 2023 comes into view. The year 2023 will see the release of many of the greatest single-player games. I find it extremely difficult to choose just one. However, I predict that Final Fantasy XVI will rank among the top 10 single-player video games of 2023. The world of Valistia, where Final Fantasy XVI is located, is home to mythical creatures known as icons, which players will recognize as the summons of previous titles like Baphomet and Shiva. Clive Rosefield, who is controlled by the player, goes on a journey for revenge following a string of tragic events involving the icon Ifrit. As the player follows Clive through 3 distinct periods of his life, they will encounter a wide variety of people, both allies and foes, battle a variety of monsters, and use mechanics that have never been used before in the series. Speaking of something new for the series, the tone of this game is expected to be much darker and more realistic than that of some of its previous. And that's it for our list of the best single-player game for each year. What do you think of our picks? Do you have any other games that you think deserve to be on this list?